all welcome to this morning first session that is on intellectual property rights. So the objective of this session is the main thrust of this session is to create awareness about intellectual property, legal rights associated with intellectual property, and allied aspects. So first, when we start with intellectual property, I would like to know from Kite Ghaziabad what is their understanding of intellectual property. What do they mean by intellectual property as per their previous knowledge? Kite Ghaziabad, what is your understanding of intellectual property or intellectual property rights? IPRs? Sure. Kite Ghaziabad? Kite Ghaziabad, who is the coordinator over there, I request to come forward and give your view. What is your understanding of intellectual property rights? Kite Ghaziabad, are you getting our voice? Hello, we are getting your voice.
Yes, sir. Intellectual property right actually means, sir, suppose I have invented something and I have to patent that thing in my name, so others cannot use it without my permission or license.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, thank you very much. We come to City Group. What is your understanding of intellectual property rights? Since we have a recent session also on that, couple of weeks. What is your understanding of intellectual property rights? City Group of Technology.
Hello.
And welcome, ma'am.
Haji sir, the IPRs are basically like if I have something and I invented something, and for that I have to file a petition that belongs to me. So that is the intellectual property that belongs to me only, and I have the rights to disperse that property among the others. Like in our case, if I belong to management, we have the copyrights, we have the trademarks. So these are the things that we include in the intellectual property.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. Then we come to MS University of Baroda. What is your understanding of intellectual property rights? Welcome, ma'am.
Just a minute.
Hello.
Hi, welcome, sir.
Intellectual property is actually with reference to either ideas, process, or product patents. It may be country-wise or group of countries like EU for exclusive use. Somebody else uses means he has to pay, he or she or that organization has to pay a royalty to the printer.
Okay, perfect, sir. Thank you very much. They have answered your understanding of intellectual property, right? Okay, you are hearing it for the first time. Okay, so we have one participant over here also. So, sir, is he?
Hello.
Okay, welcome.
Sir, Gandhi Engineering College, Odisha.
Welcome, sir. Good morning.
Yes, Santosh. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. What is your understanding of intellectual property rights, sir?
Sir, IP should be the reference regarding our anything to be designed or created, and that design and created things to be as a owners of that product, owners of that thing.
Okay.
That should be the, and like a trademark, copyright act. This is the one way to make a understand that this property should be invented or designed by me.
Okay, perfect, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. So I hope all of us are with us, with me now. So with that, we go to the terminology part. So intellect, it refers to the power of the mind, as rightly remarked by one of the participants at City Group, that it refers to the power of the mind, ideas or creation of the mind. Property, it refers generally to something that can be traded, that can be bought or sold, or which has a commercial value. So when we combine the two words, it becomes intellectual property or intellect property. It refers to the ideas and creations of the mind having commercial value. So if I am doing a new thing in a new way or in a creative way, it may classify to be a creativity or creative initiative by me, but it may not classify to be categorized under intellectual property unless it has a commercial value associated with it. So if it can be converted into a product or process or a service for which the people are ready to pay me, then it will be considered as a intellectual property. So when we add the term rights to it, it refers to the legal rights associated with intellectual property. So without going to different centers for why do we need rights, I will directly deliberate myself upon, because since most of the centers have interacted earlier, but 2 to 3 centers and 1 participant at this center, we are interacting for the first time. So when we say rights, according to by the constitution of our country, we have been given certain rights, say right to freedom of expression, right to equality, and right to education, right to information. In the same way, we have certain fundamental duties also. So when we say when I interact with the audience, I ask a question: why do we need rights? So when we delve upon that, we come to a conclusion that whenever there is a conflict, so to resolve that conflict, we should have a resolution mechanism. For example, if there is a conflict, some wrong thing happened, for example, in say Haryana. So whatever the actions, measures taken were after that happening of those riots, that were the corrective measures. Once the thing has happened, you are now correcting the negative impacts of that aftermath. But if you take some preventive measures are those measures sensing the situation, those measures that are planned and emphasized before the occurrence of an event. So that it is, for example, I came with my laptop alternatively, so that there may be a chance of failure of this laptop, or maybe a failure of opening up of a presentation in this laptop. So this is my preventive measure. But if I am not with that, for example, something technically goes wrong, I have to run for arranging a new laptop, that will be a corrective measure later on. That's it. Or it should not have happened for the next time, that will be a corrective measure. So what happens over there? Rights form a part to the preventive measure, so that I know the person sitting in front of me, what are his rights and what are my rights. Sir knows what are my rights, so that we both of us respect mutually each other's right, and we do not enter into each other's domains and do not enter into a conflict. But if there is a conflict, so rights, after that rights, we have a formal mechanism of law. Maybe earlier it was your panchayat system, then it went up to your district level, say village level, after village level, district courts, then high courts, then Supreme Court we have at the apex level. So all these forms are part to the preventive measure for a resolution to the conflict. And IPRs, when we say rights in context of intellectual property, it pertains to our rights in context of intellectual property. Just in case of physical property, we have, in case of intellectual property, we have IPRs. So it refers to the legal rights associated with intellectual property, means creation of the mind having a commercial value. So why there is a need for IP and IPRs? First one is to provide recognition and reward for original effort. So one thing is that if some person has given an idea, the first thing is that he should get a name for it, acknowledgement for it. It is his invention. For example, one person, Raman was working with some company who was into manufacturing of jeans. Some examples I will take in this session that were not taken previously, so that it makes a comprehensive understanding of IPR. And for those who are newly connected, it makes a new example for them. So Raman, when he was normally what happens over there, one of my students from NIT Jalandhar, he met me when I was traveling during the bus, and that person, I asked, where are you working? So he said, I am working with Voltas. maybe Voltas is a Tata Group company, if I am not wrong. So I said, in what role or position you are working? So he said, sir, for example, there are big textile machines are there. That machines are imported in different parts through sea route, maybe in different consignments. Then when it is delivered to the on-site to the customer, it is assembled and put into the operation. So my role as an engineer is that to successfully install that machine on the customer site and make it operational. So that is there. So in the same way, there was another person, like I'm building upon the background. So there was one person, Raman, while he was working on such imported machines. So what he discussed with his shop floor manager, that sir, this machine requires so many people to operate upon, and it requires so number of people, and it consumes a lot of space in the floor on the operational area, and also it consumes a lot of energy, electricity. So I can come up with a new machine that will consume less space, that will require less manpower to operate, that will require less energy to operate. So what his manager did, his manager took his idea, arranged a meeting with the top management of that company. They came out with a conclusion that if you successfully design that machine, what we will do, we will buy your machine. We will invest into development of it, and we will buy your machine. So what happens, they provided all the needed support, and Raman developed that machine. Once it was successfully done, so they named that machine to be Raman machine, means acknowledgement, recognition to that person. But after an agreement, they filed the IPs for that machine in different countries, in India also, in different countries also, and out of that they shared a component of reward also with him. So what happens, earlier they were importing the machines, now they are supplying the machines to those countries where the textile work is done. Reverse. So he was an inventor, but he was not having the knowledge of market or IP, but he got an opportunity where there was a mutual collaboration. So there is we have directly moved on to the higher level example from in this session. So another is to provide for protection of original effort and preventing its misuse through legal mechanism. So it means, for example, sometimes there is, I will not name the bodies over here. There is another example. I conducted one of the programs in Delhi. So what happens over there? The coordinator staff who used to look after the training of the staff of that college, she said, my husband designed some teaching learning material in which he designed it for some foreign organization. But he said that being Indian, we say normally we feel that the knowledge should be disseminated free without any trade-off. So what happens, generally, it is our assumption that it should be traded, given free. So what happens, they said to that foreign agency that we wish to keep this teaching learning aid out of the intellectual property domain. So what she did, she said we didn't allow any claim any copyright, and didn't allow any organization to have copyright or those kind of things on that material. But what happened, when that was implemented in one of the states in the country, so suppose it was meant to be used in from 8th to 10th class, but that was introduced in earlier classes, maybe from 3rd to 6th or 5th. So she said we were unable to control the use of that teaching learning. Had it been, we would have reserved the intellectual property on that material. We could have directed the control of that to this level. It should be used. It is not the right purpose of it. So it is there. So to provide for protection of original effort and preventing its misuse through legal mechanism. Had it been, they had a intellectual property over that, copyright for that book, or maybe some branding, trademark related, they would have been in a position to control the use, and that would have been used in the right audience for the right purpose, in the right atmosphere. That is it. Now we come to the essential features that characterizes a property. So there are certain parameters on which intellectual and conventional or physical property are similar. So first one is monetary or commercial value. anything will be categorized as a property only if it has a commercial value, as I have earlier said. For example, a land, it has a commercial value or tradable value. For example, your car, your furniture, and in the same way, intellectual property has your tradable value. If you have patents, copyright, trademarks, it can be traded in the market. So documentation. Okay, Cordia, do you have anything to say? I am getting a response from my technical team. Okay. Is any input from Cordia? Are you able to hear us? Are you able to hear us? We are into the mid of the session. We have just started 15 minutes back the session of IPR. I hope in the meantime you connected. Any problem at your center, or are you getting my voice? Just give me a response. You're getting my voice? Okay, I hope they are. Okay, thank you. Okay, monetary or commercial value. Anything, it may be a physical, car, land. In the same way, your intellectual property has a monetary or commercial value. Second, documentation. When we see if we have to go get a registry of our vehicle done or of our land done. So in land, we go to the tahsildar, or we go to the tahsildar and get the registry done. In the same way, for a vehicle, we go to the license, we go to the district transport authority. We have to fill up certain forms. In the same way, government issuing agency that is legally authorized. In case of license or vehicle registration, district transport officer is there. In the same way, in case of intellectual property, you have copyright office, patent office. Different offices are there in Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, and Calcutta. In the way property description, in case we get for example, I get a registry of my vehicle, it is mentioned over there how much it is a two-wheeler, four-wheeler, what color, what model, what make, year of manufacture, and how much, what time this vehicle is valid, after which its lifetime is say 15 years, or maybe passport renewal, maybe 20 years, maybe for PAN card renewal. In the same way, in case of your intellectual property, it has a property description on it, ownership of the property, name of the owner is there, whether in case it is a physical property document or it is an intellectual property document, time duration of the ownership, it is written as just I have mentioned, fee. So when you file for getting a ownership of that property, there is a certain fee associated with it that we have to pay. So now we come to the points. There are certain parameters on which we can differentiate between intellectual property and conventional or physical property. So first parameter, this is as per types, as per Indian context, in context of our country. In foreign context, these are petty patents, and your it is maybe for geographical indications or plant protection of plant varieties. But in case of India, it is 8 categories, 8 well-defined forms of IP are there. 7 are enforceable. One is done through non-disclosure agreement and confidentiality agreement, that is trade secret. So there are 8 well-defined forms of IP are there in India. Whereas in case of physical property, there may be different types exceeding 8. For example, if I see the different belongings in this room, so physically, maybe I have this pad made of paper, maybe on this lines are made of ink, bottle made of plastic, glass made of glass, a glass made of maybe plastic, mouse made of plastic, certain other materials. So projector made of lens, glass, plastic, and other elements. So if I see from a parameters on which it has been constituted, so it may be more than 8. But if I wish to see them from a intellectual property angle, so I will see them from a point of view. For example, if this camera is in front of me, it is Sony. So Sony is a brand name, trademark. It's a design. So its shape is there. So it is protected by industrial design. If Sony has a say certain manual procedure written on it, or certain booklet is there how to use it, that must have been protected by copyright. That's it. So for the same thing, we may have a multiple rights also. For example, another example we take to make it more clear is, for example, Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse printed on a T-shirt may be protected by a copyright. May printed on a greeting card may be protected by a copyright. But Mickey Mouse, a dustbin in the shape of Mickey Mouse, may be protected by a industrial design. A bus or a train engine in the form of a Mickey Mouse, children's school bus, if designed in some form, it may be protected by a design. That's it. So for the same thing, you may have multiple rights also. You may have a design also, copyright also, maybe your trademark also. That's it. So first types in case of intellectual property, 8 well-defined forms of IP are there. In case of physical property, it may be different, more than exceeding 8. Valuation. In case of intellectual property, it is not easy. In case of physical property, in case of valuation, in case of physical property, it is comparatively easy. So I would like to build upon, in every session I try to build upon this. So I would like to build upon this example in this session also for the centers who are connected for the first time. So sir, for example, you are a mechanical engineer and you have designed a plier that can be used in a, say, kitchen or in a hospital, in a kitchen also and in a hospital also. So I as a company come to know that some inventor in, say, BITS, Birla Institute of Technology, has come up with an invention that can be used in a kitchen and that can be used in a, say, hospital also. So I wish to buy your invention. So I came for a meeting, or you approach the company. You are the inventor. You do not know how to market, how to produce, how to sell. So you come to me. We have an interaction. We have a half an hour or 20 minutes interaction. You decide what money you would like to have and through what means. So just decide. You have come up with a plier that can be used in a kitchen, that can be used in a hospital. So how would you like to negotiate with me? Sure. How much money you would like to have? That's it. Anything. Okay, Cordia. Let us come to Cordia. Suppose, okay, let us come to Kite Ghaziabad. Kite Ghaziabad. Suppose one of your student or inventor or you as a teacher has come up with a plier that can be used in a hospital and can be used in a kitchen also. How much money would you like to have if I am the company person? I wish to buy your invention. Sure. Kite Ghaziabad.
Hello.
Anji, welcome, ma'am.
Please pardon, what was your question?
Question was, for example, one of your students or you as a teacher are an inventor and you have invented a say plier, एक क्लास जो कि एक किचन में भी यूज हो सकता है और जो कि एक आपके हॉस्पिटल में भी यूज हो सकता है, and you do not have that capability to take it on a mass scale and send to different to the our country or different country, and I as a company approach you. I wish to buy an invention of yours, and how much money would you like to have, and through what means would you like? That is my question. Any one person who can say what would be the response from your center? Anji, welcome, sir. Welcome.
Hello. Actually, it's a domestic application and followed with a commercial application. So
Okay,
we have to get it valued. We don't know the extent of the market. So first get valued with an expert. Say the value, and you might say lump sum so much plus a royalty for so many years.
Okay, perfect, sir. Thank you very much. You have made my thing easier. MS University of Baroda. So welcome, sir. So it is there. If you ask for a if I ask for a one time, say, sir, you say maybe 5 lakhs. So if you ask for a one time money from me, maybe there is a maybe the negative is that maybe I sell that product for several crores or maybe 50 crores, 100 crores in the market. Then you may realize if I would have asked for a royalty also, then it would have been better. Another case B is you didn't ask for a one time, but you asked for a royalty. You say, give me 10% of, say, let us decide of what. So in that case, what there may be a chance that there may be another person, colleague of yours, or some other person from other part of the country that has come up with another invention where a plier can be used in a kitchen, hospital, automobile, maybe for some other use also. Then I will not manufacture your thing, because we do not have signed, you are not aware of IPR, you have not signed agreement in that context. So I will go for a new person, I will start manufacturing his product. In that case, you may say, yaar, इनसे 10 लाख one time ही ले लेते तो अच्छा था. Had it would have been better if we would have taken a one time money. So it has to be both combination of one time plus royalty not of per unit sold or per unit MRP of per unit. It should be per unit produced, maybe MRP of per unit produced, because many a times in present or the past situation, maybe future with the coming of GST, global service tax, and these things will change. So what used to happen that the business houses normally sometimes do not build all the products being sold in the market. So to the inventor, they will keep on saying कि हमारा business मंदा चल रहा है, चीजें बिक नहीं रही. But if the royalty is per unit produced, it means from the balance sheet you can get a reflection of if you are buying the raw material of resin, so much kgs. So out of this, so much of bottles are expected to make 1 liter bottle, say industrial design you have produced. So why you are buying new raw material next time if you are unable to sell it? If you are making it for the second year also, it means your earlier products are being in the market. That's why you are producing the new one. So there are lesser chances that a business or corporate can play with the inventor. So it has to be a initial one time in collaboration with the royalty of per unit produced. Still, valuation is not easy given this, but I have given just a precise methodology how we should approach about negotiating about our value of our intellectual property. Okay, theft. In case of intellectual property, it is not at all difficult. For example, in this kind of situation, I discuss some of my ideas. You have a know-how how to develop that idea, you convert it and you save it. So all these rights are first to file. So one thing we have to make sure is that all these rights are first to file. The person who has filed the right first in the to the Indian Patent Office, say if patent is granted, all the persons who have filed afterwards, they will not be considered. First to file. Second, all these rights are nationalized rights. For example, if I have filed for my product or process or intellectual property in India, so anybody in US may develop a product or process in that country, but he may not file intellectual property for that. For example, in the same way, some person has filed a patent in USA, but he has not filed his patent in India, and he has got that patent in US, and there is under PCT route, there is a duration of 24 or 36 months, 24 months within which you have to file to the other country if you wish to go abroad. If that invention is out of that domain, so any person in another country, maybe in India, can develop the project processes based on that invention. It is legally valid, right? But if that person in India wish to file a patent or get intellectual property for that invention, so he will not get it. Invention's ownership will be with that, acknowledgement will be with that person, but a person in another country can copy and develop on that, but it should be out of that period in which they have not filed international phase application in different countries. That's it. Okay, theft, the effect of time on in case of, okay, we were discussing about, at the time we were on the valuation part. In case of in case of theft part, we were on the theft part. In case of intellectual property, theft is very easy, but in case of physical property, there are chances that a person who has conducted a operation of stealing, he may get into a caught by the relevant authorities, maybe police or anybody else. Then time duration of the property, ownership of the property. So in case of intellectual property, all the IPs are for a certain time limit. Maybe for patents for 20 years. Maybe your copyright is for 60 years after the death of the author. It is during the lifetime of the author and 60 years after the death of the author. And if you have given some person as a nominee, the royalty of that thing will keep coming to that nominee. So when we say about intellectual property in this context, time duration of ownership. So in case of physical property, it generally increases or decreases depending upon the type of property. For example, in case of, there can be a simple parameter, the resources on which the burden due to the population will, dependency of the population will, because of the increase in population, the dependency of humans will become more. For that resources, the value will go up. For example, land, drinkable water, that's it. Other resources that are available in more supply and demand is less. For example, cars, vehicles. You need one car, you find 10 brands of cars. So their value will decrease day by day. So it's a simple parameter. The resources on which our dependency will increase, the value of those resources will increase. Others, for others, it will decrease. Now, we come to the concept of IP is not new. It has its roots hundreds of years ago. So let us consider an example of Giacomo was granted the first English patent for a new type of furnace in 1565. Venetian patent was granted to Galileo for an irrigation machine. We didn't knew it. I didn't knew it before preparing for this slide. Venetian patent was granted to Galileo for an irrigation machine in 1594. In 1641 in North America, the development of patents was initiated in Massachusetts. So what point I wish to highlight over here is, many a times earlier, I am in both favor of intellectual property also. I am against intellectual property also. I have verges my say propositions, my holdings for both the things. Why? Somebody say, some person of us may say, ki most of us say that everything has come from our traditional religious scriptures. So the foreign people have copied it, they are developing the products based on it, and they are selling it back to us. So they have stolen our knowledge. So my proposal is my answer to that query is that we can't boast upon that thing and we can't shield ourselves that we should be out of IP. We will not follow the intellectual property because based on the allegation or based on this statement that everything has been taken away from us. Because if this is the case, this can only be done if we are self-sufficient. We say, I will wear the shoes, trousers, or jeans, or other things that are manufactured in my country. I have the capability to develop all those kind of things within the country. Only then I can say. Otherwise, with the liberalization of the economy, in 90s liberalization done, I am allowing the foreign investor to come in and invest and set up the business houses in a country. And when I had to buy shoes, I would prefer to buy from Woodland. Or if we buy some goggles, we wish to buy some foreign brand. So automatically, if we say we will not follow IP, it means people will follow IP and they will reinforce and sell their products in our country. And whenever each time we buy a product, automatically the money, the chunk of profits goes back to those countries. Second, second point is that the people like Sundar Pichai and other inventors that have roots in India, they will be hired by those companies and that they will protect their intellectual property in the name of the organization and jointly with those persons. And then it will be sold back to the country. We are a very potential market. In recession also, we survived. Why? Because 130 crore population, more than 130 crore plus. Because when I interact with the people below, say under the overbridges of road overbridges, sometimes registration, how many people have taken birth is not there. 130 crore is the official figure. It is several times beyond that. And if even a 1 rupee each person contribute, It means 130 crore rupees. Means what I wish to say, convey over here is कि this is a huge potential market. जहाँ पे कि आपको शूज एक ब्रांडेड 3700 रुपए का भी मिलेगा और कानपुर के एक लोकल मार्केट से मैं लेके आया तो आपको 200 रुपए का भी मिलेगा, 200 rupees का भी मिलेगा. So what happens over there is when we say intellectual property, 1600s, we are talking of 1565, 1594, 1641. So if I consider the later figure, maybe 1650 or 1700 also, it means till 2017, more than 300 years have passed, and still we say, sorry to say, sir, I asked you and you said I am not aware of IP. And in the same way, in 2000 till 2008 or 9 or 10, I was not aware because my teachers were not aware. This was not awareness was not there. Means 2008 or 9, I got to listen about intellectual property for the first time with one workshop in my university where I was doing MBA. It means I have done my whole engineering 2002 to 6 without knowledge of intellectual property. So what as engineer is expected to contribute? Because we were not in the right kind of awareness level. So is it the plight or wrong thing by the foreigners? No, it is our lack of initiative or in attitude. We didn't paid heed to these kind of concepts. Because if I talk of 1700s, at the time I am sure our religious conflicts were going on in different parts. Maybe Sikhs were fighting with Muslims, and Hindus were being tortured, and all those kind of things. And our rajas and our rulers, what they were doing, they were, अगर उनके आप अहमदाबाद में किला में या राजस्थान में जाएं तो कहीं पे मेरे को नहीं लगता कि जनरल पब्लिक को एक एक्सेस होता होगा उनके महलों का. Now, has anybody thought of 300 years down the line or 100, 200 years down the line, or 400 years down the line, they have to be converted into tourist destinations. New trains are started by the government of India, tourism, to promote, you come, celebrate, have a party and in those killas. So they have identified the power of intellectual property, converting into branding it and converting into reaping the benefits through tourism. But at that time, our front runner leaders didn't realize the power of this thing. And for example, if we are in a home like situation where my maid, if you have a maid in your home, most of us have, for example, how many of you would you say ki come on the table and have a dinner or meals with us? Very rare, maybe 5%. Maybe next 5-10% may say you sit on another room, have. Maybe 5-10% say take it to your home. May 5-10% others will say no, work, you are getting money, go away, don't spoil the things. There may be a different temperament. So how can we expect a person who were ruling us, and when they were developing, say, intellectual property, and they will say ki from people from India come sit with us, we wish to formulate a IP policy, what are your views? No, it is our initiative that we have to come forward to be equivalent with that level. So I always take here an example of Swami Vivekananda ji. So Swami, if I go back to the history of Swami Vivekananda ji, so what I found over there is that when he visited US, he was given a sponsorship letter by some recommendation letter by one of the professors from Harvard, and based on that letter, he got a chance to present in that religious conference where he delivered a talk, and that was cherished by all the people over there. And when he came back, he was celebrated in the country like anything. So what I say, when he went from over here, his tour was sponsored by some Raja, as per my limited knowledge. So what I wish to say over here is, the point I wish to highlight over here is, was Swami Vivekananda the only person at that time who was having that much temperament, where all other Indians were? He was a person who was with a different attitude. He has an intellectual capacity. Others may also be having an intellectual capacity, but he was a person who was having a different attitude. Intellectual capacity clubbed with the attitude to go beyond the normal. So he did it and he was celebrated. But we, at that time, we needed many more people like them. But anyhow, it is never too late. It's better we start getting spreading aware about intellectual property now also, because we have say more than 7 to 8 universities in Punjab only. More than, I'm sure, 20,000, 15 to 20,000 engineers passing out every year in one trade, maybe electronics, maybe civil, mechanical. If we take off southern India states, where कि आप शुरू से यहाँ जलंधर में मॉर्निंग से शुरू करूँ, शाम तक आप पाकिस्तान एंटर हो जाओगे. But southern states have so much of diversity. From the morning till evening, you will be within the same state. Say Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh. Geographically, they are very wide, covering a wide area, and number of engineering colleges or technical institutions are more in number. Maybe UP, consider UP alone. It will be far beyond the number of colleges in Punjab. So I'm sure several lakhs or thousands of engineers are passing in one stream every year. So if we spread this kind of intellectual property awareness among our students, I'm sure the inventions and innovations will come up from our students. They are innovative, creative. They will be able to protect it, and they will be able to get money out of it, and out of which we will be able to work on the dreams of our former president, late Shri Abdul Kalam ji, that your mind should become your capital asset. कि nowadays अगर मैंने टाटास और बिरला जैसे एक बच्चे को कहना है कि एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप शुरू करो, that will be my foolishness to say go in the out and compete with the world, where already a person is having a, say in Punjab, 1 acre of land on national highway is 1 crore 13 lakhs rupees or 14 lakhs rupees or 30 lakhs rupees. 5 acres or 2 acres you need for a, say, warehouse, it costs you around 4 acres of land. Only land costs 4 acres. अगर लोन लोगे 12 और 13% ब्याज cumulative, how would you survive? No. So only the route for, why I'm touching this IPR area, I have chosen it for my lifetime, because I'm a professor in entrepreneurship development. In entrepreneurship clubbed with intellectual property can bring some fruit in the country. Otherwise, I do not see a plight of entrepreneurship in the country. That's it. So our students have to be made aware of intellectual property. That's it. Now we come to the mechanisms for protection of intellectual property. So patents, copyrights, trademarks, industrial designs, layout designs for integrated circuits, geographical indications, protection of new plant varieties, and trade secrets. Okay. Let us start with first patents. So I will lay more emphasis this time individually on individual examples. So a patent is an exclusive right granted by the government to the original inventor, developer, researcher of an invention, which prohibits others from making, using, or selling that invention. That's it. Clear? So one thing I would like to highlight that I was not able to touch upon in my previous sessions. So I will now take patents into detail one by one. So one thing is that for a thing to be patentable, first for a thing to be, for a product or process to be patentable, first it should be novel. Novel means it should be new. It should be new to the domain, public domain. It should not be already expressed in any form. Maybe not in the form of a magazine, not in the form of a newspaper cutting, not in the form of a say online article. If once it is disclosed and it comes into public domain, it destroys the novelty parameter of it, and it becomes non-patentable. Second, it should have a inventive step. Inventive step means non-obviousness. Second is non-obviousness. Non-obviousness means a person skilled in the art should not be for example, seeing I say this is my invention, seeing that search should not be in a position to say कि ये तो मैं भी कर लूँगा. It should have some inventive step in it, something that is your contribution from your skill. That's it. And third is that it should have a industrial application. It should have a industrial use. Industrial use may be broader, in a broader sense said to be, it should have should serve a purpose in the society. It should be tradable. Because if it serves some purpose, then only the person will be ready to pay for it. I design something, but it doesn't serve your purpose. You will not buy it. You will not be ready to have exchange for that. So it should have an industrial application. Once your invention clears all the basic these three parameters, it means then you are ready to go for getting a patent. Second thing is Second thing I have given is these rights are nationalized rights. It has already been mentioned. If you file a patent application in India, get a patent granted in India, you are given the protection. Your protection is valid in India, not other countries. Okay? Third point, important point is that how to go about it. Now, here the concept comes off, maybe verbally I will describe. So library sciences, we relate it with the library sciences. So first level of information or knowledge management or hierarchy is, I would say, data. Certain letter or numerals, I say BKHPS 00 something. So it is a data, combination of a numeral and letters. But if I say this is a PAN number of Amardev Singh, or this is a air ticket PNR number for travel of Amardev Singh from Jammu to Srinagar. So it becomes, when we assign the context to data, it becomes information. Okay, information may be in different forms. Maybe it may be in the form of a book, maybe it in the form of a manual, or maybe it in the form of a video like this. When it becomes a knowledge, when all different sources of information, chunks of information combined, arranged logically, can help a person to solve a particular purpose. For example, different video series, video 1, second something I have given in drawing sheet, third step again a video. Seeing that a person can, if a person goes through three things, he will be able to repair a bike. It means it is becomes a knowledge source. Video clubbed with your manual became a knowledge source. That's it. Knowledge may exist in two different basic forms. It generally exists in two basic forms. One is your tacit or implicit knowledge. Second is your explicit or documented knowledge. Tacit or implicit, that is in the form of mind. Explicit or document, that is in the form of your expressed form. Can you give me an example, sir, of tacit knowledge from your previous past life, childhood? Okay, cycle. To drive a cycle. If we go 20 years back, have we seen any manual where how to ride a bicycle was given? हम पूछते थे पापा से, भाई से, elder siblings. पंचर लगाना. Did we have any manual for getting a puncture fixed? देखे फिर अब क्या है? Now with tubeless tire came. Earlier puncture wala used to spend half an hour, used to take 10 rupees. Now a puncture wala spends 10 minutes, takes 50 rupees. Based on some other person realize that giving that kind of tool with which you put a puncture material and you can fix your puncture on your own. So 5K material provided online. When I saw on online portal, it was 150 rupees or 175 rupees. Now somebody in my last program said, sir, it is now available for 90 rupees. If 5 puncture, if I get it fixed, then from some puncture wala, it will cost me 250 rupees, 55, Hana? Or otherwise it is, I am getting it online for 150 or 90 rupees and fix 5 punches on my own at my convenience. And the person who has converted that in filing a trademark, they are doing it, selling it through an e-commerce portal. Intermediary out, direct profits into the pockets. Another, Munix. Munix, if I am not wrong, it is a brand of, if I say Kangaroo, staplers and those products. They are coming up each day with the innovative products. What I saw, earlier they had a small stapler. Last week I found a stapler with a key ring. You can place, for example, I am traveling here and there in different blocks. You can have a keys also, and you can punch it, fix it to your buckle of your belt and use it anywhere. Small keyring type stapler and priced at 60 rupees. Maybe a bigger stapler with more utility in our office space is maybe lesser price. Smaller stapler, portability, use. Now every person is on the go. That's it. That is the power of intellectual property. Okay. Fourth thing over here is knowledge. Okay. One is your knowledge is in tacit or mind form. Another is your explicit form. So now the emphasis is on conversion of knowledge into explicit form. It has many purposes. For example, I will take two examples that were not taken in my previous sessions, last program sessions. So what happened over there? One time when I joined this institution new, so initially when we started with ICT programs, so we got to know that we connected different centers. Initially it was with induction training program only, and only 7 to 8 programs in a year, say, were floated. Under that, it was under the National Mission on Education through ICT. So when I used to visit a different institution, so I represented in Nitar Chandigarh. But when I used to come back, so I had to print certificates also. And when this was a new program, so departmental PA and clerks were saying this is a centralized responsibility. We will not be in a position to do it because we are already overloaded with our present activities. So I requested Dr. Punya, the then director, sir, we should have a separate person who can print the ICT certificates. But in the meantime, it was not done. Say 1 year it took time, or 1.5 years. So in the meantime, what happens? Suppose I went over there as a Amardev from Nitar Chandigarh for checking whether the program is running successfully in one of the center or not. I come back with a list of participants, and that certificate is suppose not either the certificate not submitted details, not submitted timely by the participant, or I have to print it. So I do not have say sport, clerical or that. I have to print myself. If the certificate goes after 1 year, say, so impression will be bad of the institution, not Amardev. Amardev may say these are the problems, but the representation of the institution may go bad. So what happens over there? What I tried, why not I try printing certificate myself? When I started printing certificate myself, so earlier it was one side English. Now ICT is only English. Earlier it was one side English, one side Hindi. So Hindi, clericals were trained in Hindi typing. I was not. So I tried, why not I choose on-screen keyboard. Sitting from 7 in the evening to 10 in the night, 1007 was the printer available with me. So if you give more than 5 prints, ink will go off. So I have to give 1 print. November, December, winter time I used to choose at that time. So 3 certificate printed, halt of 30 seconds. 3 certificate printed, halt of 30 seconds. What I did, I thought, why not certain names in Hindi I had to type. So I was unable to type. So what I searched when I used to use my laptop in 2007 to 9 when I was doing my MBA from Thapar. So there was an option of on-screen keyboard. So why not I try? I choose an on-screen keyboard and choose font size to be a Hindi font, so that all the Hindi letters will be visible to me on-screen keyboard and I will easily type the name, clicking the mouse. So I tried it. One day I was unable to do it. Second day I was unable to do it. Third day I was unable to do it. I spent 3 days on worrying about earlier I used to do, now I am unable to do, why? Then I thought, why not I go for a Google. I typed how to choose on-screen keyboard in what are the relevant parameters? Windows. Then I realized earlier when I bought it new, the window was Vista preloaded. So one time its hard disk got corrupted. So then I installed a new window. When I installed a new window, it was something like Windows 7, if I'm not wrong. So when I searched on Windows 7, so there was an option popped up that in Windows, that window that was presently there on that laptop, in that window, the choice of choosing an open on-screen keyboard is not available. In Windows Vista was available, but in that window that was presently over there on that laptop, it was not. So means if the knowledge is converted from tacit to explicit domain, it is available in Google, I was able to save time. But still I wasted 3 days. In the same way in IT companies, the person used to use Lotus or same time. तो मेरी बात होती थी दोस्तों से अपने, जब वो गुड़गांव में, दिल्ली में, एनसीआर रीजन में ज्वाइन किए, तो आप सेम फ्लोर में वो कहते थे हम काम करते हैं, बट कहते थे हमें हफ्ता एक दूसरे से कई बार नहीं मिलते. तो मैं कहता था कि आप क्यों नहीं मिलते, तो कैसे बात करते हो, जैसे सेम टाइम. तो मैंने कैसे, व्हाट इज द सिग्निफिकेंस, वो कहते थे चैट, उसमें, तो मैं सोचता था कि यार आईटी कंपनी में काम कैसे होता है, कि वो तो चैटिंग पे लोग लगे रहते हैं. देन आई केम टू अ कंक्लूजन व्हाई दे आर डूइंग इट. फॉर एग्जांपल, अ न्यू कमर join the company. A newcomer joins the company today. 6 months he is trained. Then he is given a wait for 1 or 2 months, say, until unless he is given up assigned a project, he is made into a team to do that project. And a person who has joined a company 4 years back, he is the team leader by now. So what happens over there? For example, if I am working on a project, I may be got into a problem where that person have been 4 years back. So I may take a lesser time that may have been taken by that person, or I may have taken more time. If he was stuck for 1 month, say at the time, 2 years back, I may take 2 months, or I may solve a problem within 15 days. So using these kind of software, you will pop your problem. I'm working on social project. I'm stuck at this position. Can anybody help? So other person, whosoever has that answer to that query, may post a answer to that. So they work in a win-win situation. That is missing in our colleges, educational system. Here, if I am working on one thing, we do not form a team. WhatsApp we use for chatting. 500 messages a day, 10 groups, say 5,000 messages or 2,000 messages. But we do not normally use it for a positive purpose, for getting teamwork or project work or kind of these collaborative assignments. But these are used by the industry in their routine activities. So fourth thing what I wish to say over there is कि conversion of your tacit knowledge into explicit knowledge, documented knowledge, कि जो knowledge आप research paper में हम लिखते हैं, these are converted, कि हमसे वो copyright form में ले लिया जाता है. Once the Elsevier, Taylor and Francis or some journal publishes it, the ownership of that copyright intellectual property will be with them. Then they give those your access to those resources under non-exclusive licenses to the consortia, maybe EBSCO host, maybe some other, and those EBSCO hosts and those people sell those databases back to the country. They come back to the country, they come to the, say, Thapa University, they come to Lovely Professional University, they come to other university, and they say, we will give you access of online papers, research papers in the domain of, say, neural networks. From 2000 to 2010, we will charge this much of money. So they have packages, they take the money from us. So earlier the lack of awareness reason was कि हम वो resources buy नहीं कर पाते थे. अगर मैंने एक individual membership ली है, तो मैंने 3500 की इंडियन सिनेरियो में ले सकता हूं. एक फॉरेन बॉडी की 20,000 25,000 पर ईयर की मैं मेंबरशिप नहीं ले सकता. तो इट मींस हमारे वो लिमिटेशंस हैं. बट इन द सेम वे जैसे वो पेड डेटाबेसेस हैं, वैसे ही हमारे पेटेंट डेटाबेसेस भी, इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी के डेटाबेसेस भी पेड हैं. कुछ फ्री हैं जैसे यूएसपीटीओ के, जर्मनी, यूरोपियन यूनियन के, बट कुछ पेड है जैसे ये कंपनी, प्राइवेट कंपनीज उसको एड ऑन करके डेवलप कर रही हैं. और उन पर स्टैटिस्टिकल एनालिसिस लगा के, जैसे रिसर्च पेपर में एच इंडेक्स, इम्पैक्ट फैक्टर, आपको लाइब्रेरी सोर्सेस को वर्क अपॉन मिला हुआ है, तो वो हमें गूगल स्कॉलर, वो हमें वापस आके हमारी रिसर्च में मांगा जाता है साथ में कि आपको परफॉर्मेंस अप्रेजल में जहाँ प्रमोशन होना तो आपको वो ऐसे पेपर्स होने चाहिए, ऐसे होने चाहिए, ऐसे होने चाहिए. अब यहाँ पे इंपॉर्टेंट है कि रिसर्च डाटाबेस जो है वो कैसे खरीदेंगे. तो वी आर नॉट एबल टू से एज एन इंडिविजुअल बाय दोज रिसर्च डाटाबेस. सो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया व्हाट दे डिड, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने ऐसे डाटाबेसेस खरीदे हैं, जैसे निस्केयर है, नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ साइंस कम्युनिकेशन एंड इंफॉर्मेशन रिसोर्सेज है दिल्ली में. वो ऑल काउंसिल फॉर साइंटिफिक एंड इंडस्ट्रियल रिसर्च CSIR लैब्स के बिहाफ पे अराउंड आज से लॉन्ग बैक, अगर मैं गलत नहीं हूं तो 2009-10 में जब मैंने एक प्रोग्राम अटेंड किया था वहां पे, तो वो 4-4.5 करोड़ के ऑनलाइन डाटाबेसेस परचेज करते थे फॉरेन से, अदर कंट्री से, इंडियन CSIR लैब्स के लिए. एंड एनी एमेच्योर रिसर्चर जो शौकिया तौर पे, एनी सिटीजन ऑफ द कंट्री कैन गो to that library and showing his ID card, he can download and search and download and take print of the research papers from over there free of cost. That's it. So that kind of awareness is not there with our researchers, and many a times sometimes the things are into the wrong hands. जब मैं स्पेशली अपनी PhD वर्क को बढ़ाने के लिए वहां गया रिसर्च एरिया को, तो मैंने सुबह मैं 8:45 पहुंच जाता था वहां पे, दिल्ली में दोस्तों के पास रुकता था. तो जैसे है कि आप 9 बजे आओगे, 9 से 1 रुकोगे, 1 से 2 लंच है और 5:30 के बाद आपको बाहर निकलना है, जो हमारा गवर्नमेंट टाइमिंग है. So many a times it inhibits the proper use of those resources. But anyhow, still the government is taking very good initiatives. So initiatives are there. तो उस केस में ऐसे ही पेटेंट डेटाबेसेस लिए गए हैं और हर स्टेट में एक पेटेंट इंफॉर्मेशन सेंटर बनाया गया है. मे बी उड़ीसा, मे बी राजस्थान, मे बी यूपी, मे बी हरियाणा, मे बी पंजाब. तो पंजाब का पेटेंट इंफॉर्मेशन सेंटर मेरे साथ ही है 1 किलोमीटर के दायरे में. तो महात्मा गांधी स्टेट इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन पंजाब के अंदर है. तो हर सेंटर में 3 to 4 गवर्नमेंट ने साइंटिस्ट की पोजीशंस प्रोविजन की हैं. Scientists are there, CD scientists are there, and those scientists working over there, they are trained into conducting patent searches, and उनको patent databases की access दी गई है. So what is the right route? जैसे एक डॉक्टर होता है तो डॉक्टर आजकल गवर्नमेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन और प्राइवेट पैनल्स पे रखती हैं कि डॉक्टर विल कम फॉर 2-3 hours, he will see the persons, those who are having problem, and he will prescribe the medicine and go away. ठीक. In the same way, दिस गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने जो पेटेंट अटॉर्नीज होते हैं, जो पेटेंट फाइलिंग में असिस्ट करते हैं, उनके पैनल्स जो हैं बना रखे हैं. तो अगर पेटेंट इंफॉर्मेशन सेंटर पंजाब है, उसके साथ एक पैनल अटैच्ड होगा जो पेटेंट अटॉर्नीज है उनका. तो अब क्या होता है कि अगर मान लो मेरे एक स्टूडेंट ने एनआईटी जलंधर से अगर पेटेंट फाइल करना है किया था, तो व्हाट ही डिड, on a covering letter with his investigator, he routed a paragraph about that invention to the Patent Information Center, Punjab. We are working on this and this invention, and we wish to file a patent for it. What the people from PIC Punjab did, they took their time, maybe 2 weeks, 1 week. They conduct a thorough search of different Indian sources, online sources or print media, and then they replied back with a covering letter. We have searched the online databases and we found that these inventions are similar to your inventions. Or you see whether your invention is this only. If it is resembling to this, it means there is inventive step or novelty. Novelty, is it there? Assure you. If you are sure that it is there, then you उसके साथ वो 4-5 पेज का एप्लीकेशन फॉर्म भेजते थे, आप उसको वापस भेजें. Then they will give you an option for a meeting, for a presentation. You make a presentation, they will judge all these parameters, novelty, inventive step, industrial application, and after that they will route your application to Indian Patent Office. So why it is done? It is done because क्योंकि वो चाहते हैं, what they need, they do कि जो इंडियन पेटेंट ऑफिस पे भी बर्डन है, 130 करोड़ पॉपुलेशन में पेटेंट एप्लीकेशंस को डील करना. तो समटाइम्स वी से कि एक पेटेंट को ग्रांट होते थे, सारे प्रोसेस को इनलाइन होते थे 3 साल 4 साल लग जाते हैं. तो हमें वरी नहीं करना, हमें सिस्टम पे फेथ रखना है. फेथ क्यों रखना है? कि एक बंदा जो एपेक्स बॉडी पे उसने सर्टिफाई करना है एक इन्वेंशन को कि पूरे वर्ल्ड में इट इज नोबल, दैट्स व्हाई इट इज ग्रांटेड. इट मींस उस पे कितना एक शोल्डर है रिस्पांसिबिलिटी, how much responsibility they are shouldering. So once we do it, once अगर उसका 20 साल प्रोटेक्शन है पेटेंट का से, तो अगर 4 साल के बाद भी पेटेंट मिलता है और 2 साल भी आप अच्छे से कमर्शलाइज कर लेते हैं उसको, तो it will pay you back everything. So we have to be positive. And the another thing I wish to say, 3-4 years back, the patent searches were free for the academicians and students. Now latest rules we have to check from the Indian Patent Office website. अर्लियर ऐसा था कि पेटेंट इंफॉर्मेशन सेंटर में मैं अपनी इन्वेंशन अगर एक स्टूडेंट और टीचर सर्च करवाना चाहे तो फ्री, अगर कोई इंडस्ट्री करवाना चाहे, दैट वाज देयर रेवेन्यू मॉडल, तो उससे वो चार्ज करते थे मे बी 15,000 और 20,000 या 25,000 पर सर्च, पर आइटम. सो दैट वाज देयर रेवेन्यू मॉडल. सो ये आपको अभी देखना है कि अभी फ्री है कि नहीं है. मोस्ट प्रॉब्ली मेरे हिसाब से एकेडमिशियंस और टीचर्स के लिए होना चाहिए. अगर आप इंडिविजुअल वर्क कर रहे हैं अपनी लैब में और अपने कमर्शियल लेवल पे प्राइवेट कंपनी ओपन करके या कोई कोचिंग सेंटर करके, तो उसके लिए आपको पे करना पड़ेगा. देन यू हैव टू पे. इन द सेम वे अगर वो गवर्नमेंट फी के थ्रू फाइल होता है तो वो नॉमिनल चार्जेस लगते हैं. बट अगर आप अपना फाइल करोगे तो इट विल बी टेकन एज अ, whether if you go to a patent attorney, they will charge their consultancy according to their fees is set. So that was the basic about patents knowledge I wish to convey. Another important thing is in application form for the patents, when you apply for a patent, so there is a 2 columns, rows or columns, field of information required. One is your applicant name, one is your inventor name. So inventor name normally mention all the names, maybe institution or maybe your people, teacher, maybe students, but the financial benefits of that invention can be reaped only by those persons whose names is in the applicant column. So suppose inventor Amardev or student's name is there, but applicant Amardev is there. So only the trading benefit can be taken off by Amardev. So this is to be taken care of if there is an input by the student or teacher. So in applicant field also, the name of those students and teachers should be there. That is a morally, it should be done. It should be done. That's it. Copyrights. Copyrights are a set of exclusive rights granted by the law to the creators and producers of the forms of creative expression such as literary, music, or cinematographic works. Important link for getting the details is copyright.gov.in. So copyright, for example, in your labs, if some persons develop a creative chart, maybe in management field, some kind of to illustrate some concept, they have come up with a creative chart. Maybe in your engineering field, to demonstrate an experiment, they have designed a creative chart or some creative means. So you can get a copyright for it. You can brand it. You can sell it as a teaching learning module also. That's there. Then we come to trademark. A trademark is a word or a symbol adopted and used by a manufacturer or a merchant to identify his goods and distinguish them from those manufactured and sold by others. That's it. So we come to the trademark point over here. Trademark, why trademark is important? Sir, can you elaborate? Now I come to a next level. Why branding is important? उस नाम से अब ये मैंने पानी पिया भी. इट इज एक्वाफिना. इट इज अ ब्रांड ऑफ विच कंपनी? Kinley. Kinley is a brand of which company? Kinley is a brand of Coca-Cola, and Aquafina is a brand of packaged drinking water from PepsiCo. PepsiCo. Aquafina. Thick. What happens over there? There are separate different reasons behind it. So here I would like to, in the last session I didn't highlight. So here I would like to highlight with one of the concept given by Michael Porter. Now those from management area, they must be knowing it. So when we say, it is visible? Okay. So when we say Michael Porter, 5 forces are there. So Michael Porter's 5% model, if you search over the Google also, or if you study, so it says industrial competitiveness, and competitiveness in any industry varies, or it depends on the balances of forces among 5 forces. So one is at the center level is industry's competitiveness. How competitive is the industry? One of the forces threats from new entrants. Another force is, say, bargaining power of buyers. Then another force is bargaining power of suppliers. Then next force is threats from industry's competitiveness depends upon different forces. Industry's competitiveness, threats from new entrants, threats from substitutes, bargaining power of buyers, bargaining power of suppliers. So with a case study, normally it is in classroom situation, it is discussed with a case study, say of Coca-Cola or PepsiCo, all these software companies. So what they do, whenever they enter into a new area, new say geographical region, not product, geographical region, say they come to India. So first of all, they have 60 to 65, more than 60% of their revenues budget on advertisement and branding. So whenever they enter, they capture this, take hold of this threat of new entrants. If they advertise in such a big way, if a new person have to enter that software industry, a soft drink industry, so they will think of already the players are there. So they try to capture the threats from new entrants. If already are there, misflyers, some people are there who are already making soft drink, maybe proprietary food items and circulating in the market, then they threat them that you become our suppliers. Otherwise, we will not let you trade in the market. They have the power to lower their prices down. That's it. Then bargaining power of buyers. When you go to, as a buyer, when we go to a shop, do we negotiate on a cold drink bottle? No. वो कहता है कि 2 रुपए का मार्जिन है, जबकि अगर आप डीलर से लो तो देयर इज अ मार्जिन ऑफ 17 to 18 rupees in a 1 liter 2 liter bottle per bottle. 17 to 18 rupees. Because in my marriage I bought from a common person, so there's a margin of 17 to 18. That's it. So what happens over there? The bargaining power of buyers they have taken care of. But when we go for buying a banana or some vegetables, then we negotiate maybe 10 rupees also. Then they have taken care of that also. Threats from substitute. So there may be a person like Shri Ramdev Babaji, or there may be a person like me or some other NGOs holder. Those who will say कि that Coca-Cola जहाँ लोग soft drink में आप दांत डालो ये ऐसा हो जाएगा, इसको वैसा हो जाएगा. So what they did, they are coming with substitute. क्या होगा? कोल्ड ड्रिंक नहीं पियेंगे लोग, पानी पियेंगे. पानी नहीं पियेंगे, नींबू पानी पियेंगे. नींबू पानी नहीं पियेंगे, so they are coming into that fruit juices. So they are coming into that also. So my question is, why a Kinley bottle or some other bottle is to priced at 20 rupees or 25 only? Why not 10 rupees 1 liter? Why not 15 rupees? Who said water is for 25 rupees? To serve water in India was considered as a pious thing. Why we have forgot our tradition then? If we say we do wish to be out of intellectual property. That's it. Because they have psychologically, they have covered it very well with the grounded theories that if the people will not buy, so automatically the person who is going to be a business development manager for that company, I will say, in हिसार जाते जाते यहाँ पे पानी नहीं मिलता सर, लोगों को प्रमोट करो कि आपको कैंसर हो रहा है, जमीन के नीचे वाला पानी पोल्यूट है, ये हो रहा है वैसा हो रहा है, तो आप लो, तो ऑटोमेटिकली हम ही स्ट्रेटजीज देंगे, because we have to get employment also in the company. So what happens over there? तो वो कहते हैं कि alternative of substitute पियो और pay me the profit. Branding, by branding Aquafina, by Kinley, because सबकॉन्शियस में भी देखो एक्वाफिना, किनले, ये ब्रांड बैठ गए हैं. जब आप अपने बस में भागते भागते बस पकड़नी है, यू विल आस्क फॉर अ किनले. इफ यू आस्क फॉर कोका-कोला दो, पेप्सी को लो, देन द पर्सन विल कंफ्यूज कि इसको सॉफ्ट ड्रिंक चाहिए, फिर वो पूछेगा, एक और डायलॉग शुरू होगा, सॉफ्ट ड्रिंक और वाटर. तो वन थिंग टू आइडेंटिफाई योर प्रोडक्ट अवे फ्रॉम अदर, डिजाइन based on design differentiation, product differentiation. Third, to ease the process. Fourth, जैसे Nike है, Nike earlier started with Nike and Nike AE. Now, once it is into the mind of the people, they have made that level of penetration into, say, Indian market or other markets. So what they do, they only now place a tick. So at the mass level, they have reduced the cost of that, using that writing Nike, machines used to write Nike, thread use, manpower use, the machines, whatever. In some sense, they have saved money on that. So once they penetrate the thing into the mind of the people, once it is set, then it will be, cost will be reduced. Haveli also is there, but it has not been actually given a brand. But Haveli earlier in Jalandhar it is there. Haveli was written, now they have written a big H. Only H you will identify this is Haveli. That's it. Okay, so trademark is a word. It may be only a word. Maybe in a Mercedes, it is a circle, triangle, or it may be a word in combination, symbol. It may be symbol like Mercedes star and circle, and it may be a symbol in collaboration with a word. It may be a logo plus some punchline also, or some combination of word also, or a sentence also. That's it. Industrial designs. It refers to the specific shape, configuration, surface pattern, and color or combination thereof producing a aesthetic impression of the article. For example, I am using this pen. How they have innovated in this pen? In this pen नीचे से उन्होंने ट्रांसपेरेंट बनाया, स्प्रिंग दिखता है, रिफिल दिखता है, ऐसे इस पोर्शन को ट्रांसपेरेंट रखा है. They have differentiated it. So this pattern, this is protected in the industrial design. Simple example, Reynolds का white and 0.007, if I am not wrong, that Reynolds white and blue cap that was there. So during that production duration that for which industrial design is protected, during those nobody can copy. After that, anybody can make in the public. Layout design of integrated circuits. Layout design for integrated circuit refer to the specific manner in which transistor and other circuitry elements of an integrated circuit are laid out in a semiconductor IC and includes LED wires connecting such elements. So यहाँ पे एक example repeat करूँगा. When I started my career with a small scale industry way back in 2006, तो वहाँ पे एक मेरे senior थे. तो उन्होंने फटाफट एक दिन कहा कि हमारा बाइक उठा, हमने जाना है चाचा जी के घर. उनके चाचा जी इंडस्ट्रियल एसोसिएशन से रिटायर्ड थे, तो उनके घर गए. मैंने कहा भैया ऐसे कोई इमरजेंसी है? कहते इमरजेंसी नहीं. वहां गए तो वहां ने AT&T से उन्होंने एक आईसी इंटीग्रेटेड सर्किट चिप मंगवाया था, जो कि रिसर्चर्स को डेमो के लिए फ्री आता था. फॉर एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन पर्पस दे गिव. तो उन्होंने मंगवाया, डब्बा खोला, उसके अंदर बहुत अच्छा घास फूस से पैक किया हुआ, उसके अंदर पेपर से, है ना, पफ से, फिर लिफाफा एयर वाला टाइट वाला, फिर उसके बाद खोला. तो मेरे लिए बहुत अच्छा एक्सपोजर था, जो मेरे को बीटेक के टाइम में भी नहीं मिला, जो मेरे को एक वहां पे स्मॉल स्केल इंडस्ट्री में मिला. तो जब आया उसको खोला, व्हेन वी डिड इट, तो मैंने कहा भैया इसका क्या करोगे? कहते चलो मैं बताता हूँ. नेक्स्ट डे ही वेंट ओवर देयर बैक टू द कंपनी. वी वर इन दैट अवर वर्क रूम वेयर वी वर वर्किंग. तो वहां काम करते करते उन्होंने उसको किट बनाया. पीसीबी कहीं से प्रिंट करवाते थे, सॉफ्टवेयर में डिजाइन करते थे, ठीक, और किट बना के उसका एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन, तो डिफरेंट उनका नदर्न रीजन में किट्स सप्लाई करते थे. मे बी मेरी फर्स्ट जो ट्रेनिंग थी आई इम्पार्टेड टू सम प्रोफेसर इन नेटर चंडीगढ़ ओनली, and I joined 6 years down the line as an assistant professor over here. So what happened over there? So they used to deliver kits to different organizations, maybe CSIO, maybe NIEEE, maybe other organization. So what I wish to say over there is he developed a kit and they priced it, say, for a 5,000 rupees or 5,500 rupees or something like that. Say. So what happens over there? That person left that and got admission into some other organization, maybe in higher education for getting MTech degree. So what happened over there when he moved? That intellectual property of him designing a circuit, it was not secured, neither with the organization with which he was working, because they were not aware of intellectual property, neither with him. So when I conducted a program on intellectual property over here, so when I invited some of the consultant from Delhi, so what happened over there? I assigned one of the person, or two experts were there. One, you have to cover layout design for integrated circuit. Layout design for integrated circuit, layout design registry act is there, 2000 में passed है. तो वो कह रहे हैं अमर, इसमें मैं एक्ट ही बता पाऊंगा कि इसमें अभी तक मेरे पास तो कोई केस आया नहीं, किसी ने इसको प्रोटेक्ट करवाया. So it means there is a huge potential. Means if a person who are working on development of circuits in our country, that they should be made aware of. So what happens over there? The problem with our industry is, small and medium scale industry, is we normally become the supplier or backward integrators for the big companies or foreign companies, and we do not realize the power of intellectual property. I got an opportunity to interact with the industry association members of Haryana in one of the lecture series, maybe 2 years back, if I am not wrong. तो उसमें कोई भी इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट मेरे को लगा ही नहीं कि जो पर्टिकुलरली जो मीडियम लोअर स्मॉल स्केल इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट है जो आईपी के बारे में अवेयर थे. सो व्हाट हैपेंस ओवर देयर कि जब हम आईपी के बारे में अवेयर नहीं है तो हमसे काम करवा लिया जाता है, उसको ब्रांड करके आगे बेच दिया जाता है. That's it. So once if this awareness will go into your students, automatically out of our students will become the IAS officers, will become the clerks, will become the bankers, funding the ventures, will become going into big industries, will be going into medium industry, will be going into small scale industry. So once we plant a sapling of IPR into their area. So I am sure this is going to be with them for lifelong, in whatever sense they can be. That's it. Okay. Geographical indications. Geographical indications of goods are defined as that aspect of intellectual property which relate to the goods or products originating from a particular geographical region situated in a particular country. For example, say Nagpur oranges. If we take, so geographical indication generally is not given to an individual person. It is given to a person who is representing the association that is representing some trade person's interest. For example, 20-30 shopkeepers are there. They are having their say oranges promotion sales promotion association. The chairman of that association, it will be granted in his name. So geographical indication is to preserve the authenticity or touch of that product. It should not be like if oranges grown in Patiala are pegged and branded like a Nagpur oranges and claimed more money. So that's it. So it is for that purpose only. Protection of new plant varieties. It refers to the legal rights granted by the government for protection of new plant varieties, right of the farmers and plant breeders. So that's it. Trade secrets is referred to the proprietary information having commercial application and value. In case of foreign countries, trade secrets are there allowed to be protected, but there you have to justify that you have done everything humanly and technically feasible to protect that secret. If you are able to prove that, then only then they will give you a trade secret. But in India, trade secret is generally not provisioned yet. So what happens over here is whenever our students join a company, they are given to sign a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement. For example, a person working in, say, some IT company, they are managing the data of the bank accounts of, say, some foreign country organization. For example, some company is managing the HR payroll data of Maruti. So Maruti may be having a 25 people or 20 people HR team. So that all the employees, maybe in a plant 1,000 people are there, 1,200 people are there. All their कितनी छुट्टी बनती है, कितना पीएफ बनता है, पीपीएफ बनता है, कितना ड्यूज है, कितना किसको कितने पैसे डिसबर्स हुए, उस सब का लेखा जोखा वो दे आउटसोर्स टू आईटी कंपनीज. So IT companies, people are made to sign those documents so that you do not share that information unintentionally with the unauthorized authorities. Okay. For patents, हम बात कर ही चुके हैं. 20 years of protection, duration of protection. Fees for patents, you do not see this fee chart because this presentation was designed by me in 2013. So these were the fees at that time: 1,000 for individual, 4,000 for commercial entity. Recently, there has been changes on the website. It is available. So they have been made into category individual or joint patents. So they have different categories, different fees are there. So 3 to 4 more than 3 categories are there. So right authority or agency concerned are controller of patents India with branches at New Delhi, Chennai, Mumbai and Calcutta. Copyrights, the duration of protection is during the lifetime of the author and 60 years after his death. Fee, 50 years for literary, artistic, musical or dramatic work. Right authority or agency concerned is registrar of copyright at New Delhi. Trademark, initial protection is for 10 years but can be renewed indefinitely. So fee again, यहाँ पे fees बढ़ा दिया गया है. Recently there was a month back, अप्रैल और मई में trademark act में changes आए हैं. New changes have been introduced. So you have to refer to them for the update knowledge. So registrar of trademarks with branches at New Delhi, Chennai, Mumbai and Calcutta. Industrial designs, its initial protection is for 10 years. It can be renewable for 5 more years. That is a total of 15 years on payment of 1,000 rupees. Yes. Layout design of integrated circuit. Duration of protection is for 10 years. Fees is 5,000 rupees. But here there is some relaxation period of, say, if I'm not wrong, if we see the act, it is 2 years or 3 years something. Means if your product is already into the market since 2 years, but you are able to justify and prove that it is your intellectual property, then also you may get a protection in the layout design of integrated circuit. So here certain sort of relaxation is there if you see the act. Okay, plant varieties. Duration of protection is 15 years for annual crops, 18 years for trees and vines. One time renewable at the end of 6 years for annual crops, 9 years for trees and vines is given. The fees is at that time were 5,000 for individual, 7,000 for educational institution and 10,000 for commercial entity. So right authority for layout design of integrated circuit is Registrar Semiconductor Integrated Circuits Layout Design Registry, New Delhi, and for plant varieties it is Registrar of Plant Varieties at New Delhi. For geographical indications, one-time registration valid for 10 years can be renewed indefinitely, like a trademark. On payment of 5,000 for geographical indication fees, 5,000 for each class. IP India offices at New Delhi, Chennai, Mumbai, and Calcutta are the right authority concerned. Trade secrets, no registration needed, validity as per terms of agreement. No fees there. Civil courts of respective jurisdiction if any violation is there. Suggestions for technical institution. I hope I have covered side by side while going on with my session. So suggestions are so we are closing, sir, within a minute. Okay. So suggestions for technical institutions is that you have to promote the culture of awareness of IP in your students. You have to get the, say, if they can develop some creative charts relating to their ideas, it has to be protected through copyright. If they submit their thesis, if it is an innovative, creative one, they should be protected through copyrights. And if something, some product or process can be developed out of it, product is there that can be out of as a resultant from the thesis work, then first a patent should be filed. A provisional patent application can be filed within, you get a time of 12 months. Within 12 months, you can file a complete application. Date of priority will be given from the filing of date of provisional application. So if you are granted. So what happens over there? Provisional patent should be filed. Then a patent should be filed if it is there. Then only your papers for journals and conferences should be published. Since this is a course on research methodology, so you have to take care that first you protect the intellectual property, then you publish your results or papers. So the references for this presentations were Fundamentals of Intellectual Property for Engineers, written by Koman Bansal and Prakshit Bansal sir. First edition, Hyderabad, BSP Books Private Limited, written in 2013. Examples were put in, were my own, in addition to the examples quoted by Sir Prakshit sir, and they were all, the presentation was designed in hand by entering the details by myself, and it was based on the first chapter of their book. Thank you very much. I acknowledge the contribution from all the sources, primary and secondary.